Hey, shalom y'all. So today we're going to be building a raised bed garden, step by step, take you through the process, show you the most simplest way that we found to do this, and then hopefully it'll be easy for you guys. So what we did is we're using pressure treated wood. In the past we've used regular pine, just taking the cheap route, which will probably bite me in the butt at some point because we stained it to make it last longer, but it'll eventually rot out. And this will too, but a lot of things that people have done this have showed that this might last you about 15 years before you have to worry about it, and that's nice, and I don't have to bother buying the stain to stain it. So we're using 2x6 pressure treated lumber, and then we're using 4x4 pressure treated lumber for our posts that you'll see that we're going to put in. The 2x6s is a little bit more difficult just to screw straight in, so we will pre-drill those, but the 4x4s we can just screw right in that, and we haven't had any problem. I use 3-inch exterior screws. You want to get the exterior screws so that they don't end up rusting and snapping on you over time. So it's a little bit more money, but it's worth paying it. It's only probably maybe $1 difference for a box. So some of the lessons I'm learning the hard way, right? So you don't have to. So what we're going to start with now is we're just going to line these up. And you'll see we're going to put this box together, one of them, 6 inches, these are 2x6. We're going 12 inches tall. So then we're going to build another box and sit it on top of it, and then we're going to secure the two boxes together with the 4x4 posts. So that's what we're doing here. So the first thing to do is just to come in and pre-drill. And if you've never used the drill before, I know some people, have not done anything like this before. So pre-drill them, all you're going to do is you're going to find a drill bit that's just a little bit smaller than your screw, and you're going to pre-drill your hole just like it sounds. So that makes it easier for that screw to come in. But you still need it small enough where it can still grip on the wood so that it's secure. So that's what we're doing. All right, so we're here with my lovely assistant. We call her Ellie Mae Clampett. She helps me in everything around the homestead that I do, and she's awesome. So she's helping me today do this. So you're just going to do 2 screws in for each one. So we're going to pre-drill 2 right now. Alright, so now that we got our hose pre-drilled, now it's just as easy as screwing these in. And that's why we pre-drill it, because you see even pre-drilling that, for this smaller wood like this, it's still harder to go in. So if I wouldn't have pre-drilled that, you'd be out here ready to throw this thing. So that makes it a lot easier. We got those 2 boxes put together, and all we did was we threw them on top of each other. And then we got our post cut on here. These are, you get an 8-foot post, cut them 1-foot sections. One post will build you 2 beds. So that's all we're going to do. We'll put them in the corners now, and then we're just going to screw a screw on top and on bottom on each part of this. So we're going to put one on this side coming through, and one on that board coming through, and then we're going to come on this side and we're going to do the same thing, and it's secure. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be sturdy at that point, and that's all to it. These you don't need to pre-drill. They're very easy to do, so you can just screw the screw straight through it, and then it's assembled and done. So that's what we're going to go start doing now. All right, y'all, so we got it assembled. We brought it out here. You see we got a few already out here that's done, and we got 2 that's got soil in it, and we planted our tomatoes. So we'll talk to you a little bit about, now that we've got it assembled, why we do these, the benefits of it, and things like that. So the benefits of the raised bed, as you can see here, this is 4 foot wide, and so this is done so that most people, regardless of your height, can weed this easy. So you can get halfway on each side really easy in here. If I'm planting, if I'm weeding. And weeding is easy because you're filling this. These, remember, are 12 inches deep that we're making. You only need for most plants to fill this to that first line, which is 6 inches. And you can grow about anything you want to grow in there, depending on what you got. Over here where we're at, there's rocks underneath this, so we're basically not growing on anything. So we're filling these up to around 12 inches. Still don't need it for these tomatoes, but I like to be able to have the opportunity to grow potatoes in here and I don't want to think strategically on one bed. I want every bed to have the capability of any other bed, so that when I do crop rotation, if we're doing Solanaceae, which is things in that family of tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, things like that, then I don't want to rotate that in with each other. So we can move in something that's, cucumbers over here, different things, and I want to make sure that there's enough depth to cover any of that. But it's up to you. So if you're just looking at planting, you're never going to plant potatoes, you're not going to plant carrots, anything real deep rooted, go with 6 inches. Still build it 12 inches, just fill it with 6 inches to save you some money. But if you decide later you want to do it, you don't have to rebuild nothing. You already got it here. You just add more soil to it, and you can grow anything you want, and you're good to go on it. So what we do here is the 4 foot by 8 foot. The reason I picked that is, so the width, we show how easy that is, and I can go around and I can plant and weed. But the length, we don't do longer than 8 foot, because if you go longer than 8 foot on here, you're going to need to have a support beam for the middle, because this soil over time, it will put pressure and it's going to push against these boards. But for 8 foot, you're fine. By having those posts in the corners and securing it the way that we showed on there, you're not going to have an issue with it. So that's why we came up with, and we do the 4 foot by 8 foot, and it works really well for us, and you can get a lot of crops in here. So you see with the tomatoes, I'm very liberal on my spacing. I like to have a lot of spacing in my plants so that I don't have to worry about, as they get bigger, of a lot of water being stuck on there, and I want to make sure there's a lot of good air movement and airflow through the plant. So you can easily get 5 tomatoes in here and have no problems. If you wanted to, on the sides, you could still put some peppers over here, and they would still do good too. So that's an option that you can do. You can get 3 zucchini plants spaced about 2.5 foot apart. Those will do good. You could get a mess of beans in here. You can get potatoes in here. So you can really do a lot with this, and you don't need a lot. And as you can see, I think underneath this used to be an old driveway, because under here is, you got about this much of soil and the rest is gravel. So even with that, I was going to rototill this and realized that wasn't going to happen. So you could literally put this on a driveway that's paved, concrete, and you put the soil in and you can grow whatever you want to grow in here. So that's nice. So if you don't have a lot of time to be out weeding, this is a good way to do that. If you have physical injuries, this is nice. And it's not that expensive to do if you do it yourself. It's not bad. The soil is what's going to cost you the most. But a lot of towns they're going through, and your cities and towns will pick up a lot of yard debris, and most of them take that and compost that somewhere. So if you give them a call, a lot of times they'll let you come and pick that up for free. So you can literally go and fill your truck bed up with what might cost you $900 to go buy in the store, and you could get that for free. And then all you're paying for is your wood and your screws, and you're saving a lot of money to do it that way. And to buy these are solid. They ain't going nowhere. And with this pressure treated wood, it's probably going to last you about 15 years. To buy something like this online, if you even could get quality that's going to last that long, you're talking, probably $300 to do this. Whereas you can build this for yourself very cheap and not come anywhere near that. So with a little bit of labor, a little bit of know-how, this is just a rectangular box, so you don't got to be a skilled carpenter. The other thing you can do with these that are nice is if you put some PVC on here, and we may end up, we're probably going to make videos on that, because we're going to be putting PVC, making a low hoop house for this, row cover, and then that way we can have kind of mini greenhouses on here, and we'll be able to extend our season both through the fall and winter into early spring and get things growing. So we haven't did that yet here. This will be our first year doing that. So we'll film that and show you guys how we do that. And that's another way, if you can't afford a big greenhouse or you don't have the space for a big greenhouse, that's a way to make some mini greenhouses, and you can get a lot more crops for it. So we'll keep you updated and posted as we do that. So I hope you guys got something out of this. If you got questions, comments, put it below. Thanks for tuning in. Shalom, y'all.